Okay, good morning and welcome to a brand new week. I trust you had a productive week and a restful weekend. Well, I am your host. Just in case you are listening for the first time, I am Ojonimi. Yeah, so let's go on with today's discuss. So I want to ask you, what are your routines? Yeah, what are your routines? Because the major deciding factors of how productive you've been or how unproductive you've been since the year started. I was tempted to say at one time, tell me or show me your what you do as your routines, and I can almost predict your level of productivity without fail. Like anybody, and how your week or how your day is going to play out. Save for chance and then the mercy of God. Now, why I say this is if God doesn't intervene, yes. And then if chance doesn't make it different, yeah. But if those two factors don't come to play actively, I can almost predict your how productive your day is going to be or how unproductive your day is going to be. So tell me again, what are your routines? Today, we are going to consider 5 routines that keep you unproductive all week. And I'm sure if you have some of these, you might want to consider adjusting them because, check, it's almost 12 days gone. And how much have you achieved? Now, I don't mean to put you under any pressure, but just check in terms of productivity, how productive have you been? Now, let's check these things out. Number one, this is unproductive routines now, because I'm going to speak about unproductive routines and then I'm going to speak about productive routines that you could replace them with. Okay, so number one, not separating work from home. Not separating work from home. This is especially to my self employed and work from home listeners. Not separating work from home. Because this is one thing that happens. If you are in work mode, it keeps you more productive. If you are in the social at home mode, you can afford distractions and all that. And this is where the challenge comes. When there is no clear separation, you tend to get distracted at work easily. You get very, very distracted, especially for those working from home, from having chats with family members or just having to do one task you just remembered off your head, like something you were supposed to do and you didn't do. But this is during working hours. Now, I'll give you a personal example of myself. Last year, when I got back to settling to Jos towards September, October, one of the decisions I made as a person was I produce, and over the years, I've been producing in my room, but I made up my mind I was going to separate my workspace from home space. And then, well, I had few equipments, but I didn't have a room, I didn't have an office space and all that. And immediately that decision came. I immediately started working towards getting an office space and getting the things I'll be needing, like office desks and some other things. And surprisingly, it's not like I even had a budget for it. God just started working out the space for me. And in less than 2 weeks, I had all my equipment out of my room. This was immediately I came. I moved all my equipment out of my room and fixed up my office space. And that is where you are hearing this podcast. And that is where you're hearing this podcast today from. So this morning, I am in my office space recording this podcast. So learn to separate your work from home, even if you work at home. Number two, not having a goal or a plan for the day. This one is going to make you very, very, very unproductive if you don't have a plan for the day. And I'm not going to dwell too long here because I've spoken about that in my previous podcast. But your plans for the day and your goals for the day should reflect. Your plans for the day should reflect your ultimate goal for the week, and then leading to the month, to the quarter. Yeah, so you have broken down your goals into smaller bits. It should reflect in your everyday's routine. So not having a goal or not having a plan is already making you very, very unproductive. And if you don't have a plan for this week, you are going to be unproductive. Trust me. So write it down, even if it's just 30 minutes this morning. Okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And this is what will help me get to my goal. Please do that. Number 3, pushing tasks to later dates for convenience. Now, this is the biggest one I have seen this year. The year hasn't even gone anywhere, but this is one of the biggest ones I've seen. Pushing dates. And one word for this, there is no explanation. It is procrastination. Yeah, there is no any other word for it. Procrastination. And this happens to people, and I used to be in that WhatsApp group few months ago, I won't even say years ago. The perfect timing people, yes. So you want to do something and you want everything to be in place before you carry it out. Instead of setting a deadline, oh my God, you are going to be unproductive. I don't know why I'm passionate about this, but I'm not saying you should rush. But fix a deadline on everything you have to do. Don't be so... I'm not saying you shouldn't be spontaneous, okay? But fix a deadline. Make sure you are not pushing those dates. If you have to reach out to someone concerning a business today, do it today. If you have to complete a course or read up something or go through a tutorial, don't push it. Do it now. Do it today. Okay? And then number 4, waking up late. And always using the fire brigade approach. Now, I'm not trying to guilt trip you if you're listening to this podcast maybe few minutes or few hours after 4 a.m. I know this is really early for many, but when you wake up late, this is what happens. You miss that opportunity or that advantage of having a good head start for the day, only if you are that good. But there is a lot that happens in that morning space, from having to clean. You even see that when you wake up late, you might even forget to dress your bed. You'll just be rushing everything. You'll be playing catch up almost throughout the day, and that's really unproductive. And also using fire brigade approach. What do I mean by fire brigade approach? You wait until something happens before you begin to take actions, or that you just wait until something happens, and then you now begin to act. No, you are supposed to create systems and put checks to those things, whether they happen or not. Okay? That's what productivity is. So don't wait till maybe you have an exam before you start reading. That's fire brigade approach. You are already unproductive. So factor in the reading now, whether you have exams or not. You have a gig. Don't wait for a few days to the gig before you score the songs they have sent to you. Score it as soon as you have the time to. Okay, if there is a work-related thing you are supposed to do that it's going to have an effect sooner or later, that effect can be negative or positive, do it today. Hold that meeting today. Open that account today. Do those registrations today. Okay, Don't wait and start doing the fire brigade approach. Okay, and so let me speak about productive routines. Now, it's not good enough to tell you, okay, stop doing this and stop doing that and stop doing this. And then, okay, you are like, okay, I've stopped doing those things. So what's next? So what's next is what I'm going to be saying now. And this is for productive routines. I'm going to mention 5 of them. Number 1, stay at your productive workspace and focus on a task until you are done. So this will require you creating that workspace. And this is something I've learned to do. I just started practicing it and it's working for me. For everywhere I get to, I try to create a workspace. So in school, I already established a workspace aside lecture hall because I don't have lectures all day. So I created a workspace for myself where I could concentrate and focus and have all my tools, the tools I need to work. Same thing with home. I create my workspace. Stop working on your bed. Yes, take that decision today. Stop working on your bed. Create a workspace. It could be your dining area. It could be anywhere. You can even just go out. Stop staying at home. That's if it's not necessary. Just go out and it will help to help you maybe in your focus or even in your productivity. Okay, so that's number 1. And then focusing on the task. Like focus and finish the task. Stop doing it 50%, 70% and then coming back to it. Develop that habit in your routine of focusing on the task until you finish. Number 2, have a sense of urgency on completing tasks. Now, this is in opposite to procrastination. Have a sense of urgency. Now, I'm not saying you should be desperate. This is completely not asking you to be desperate, but have a sense of urgency. It is going to help you even in your it's going to help you in how you maximize opportunities that come your way. People who have a sense of urgency and reply very fast in messages and things they ask, maybe like customer service, or you have a gig and you respond and you have a sense of urgency, you respond really fast. Many people, you get customer return when you have that character. That's something I didn't have so much last year. Somebody will send me a job, fix a deadline. I'll be like, oh, I would no rush me. I'll do it at my own pace. And then 2 weeks got to 1 month, 1 month got to 3 months, and their projects is still sitting with me. And that's because I was still like, don't rush me. But have a sense of urgency. That's something I've learned and I'm adjusting this year, and it's really helping me. Okay, so I want you to adopt this. Now, I'm not coming out to do this podcast because I'm perfect. No. What I am doing is I'm sharing my experiences with you and helping you learn from some of these decisions I'm taking so that we can grow together. So have a sense of urgency. Number 3, develop routines for your grooming. I think this is the biggest one, both for male and female. Okay, so I see some people who come out looking like they have been beaten. Yeah. Or you just come out anyhow. We had a get together and there was this guy who showed up, and like this wasn't supposed to be like a normal get together, like planned. And sorry to use this example, I saw the wools or blanket on his hair. Just imagine, for a semi-corporate or corporate outing, and he has that. So, and so many other things I observed. Don't mind me, I'm very detailed in my observation. You see, people who have cracks behind their legs, they complain about it being in nature, or complain about it being That's the weather. They blame the weather and so many other things. But I'll tell you the truth. Let me say concerning this crack. There's a name they used to call it now. Well, I don't want to call it that name. Permit me. So, concerning the crack, if you spend an extra 5 minutes in the bathroom to use the scrub, the sole scrub or the feet scrub, and you work on your grooming, so that's also grooming. It's not the places people see that you groom alone. Even the places people don't see, from shaving regularly to scrubbing under your feet to cleaning your beddings. Now you sleep on your bed every day. Maybe only on days that you don't have vigils, but you sleep on your bed every day. The year is fast spent, almost 2 weeks now. How often have you cleaned your bedding, your pillowcase? Because these are the things that build your perceived what's the word to use now? Permit me. I'm not finding the right word to use, but your sense of smell, that's how people perceive you. I don't know if that works, but how people perceive you. These are some of the small things. These are some of the little things that build that. From shaving your armpit to washing your beddings to washing your towel. So when people complain about certain people having body odor, now let me speak on that a little. Sorry, this podcast is taking time, but permit me to dwell here a bit. Now, body odor happens for a reason. I don't know, maybe they have medical reasons, but I would always say 70 to 80% of the people who struggle with body odor is from lack of grooming. Yeah, so the body odor is coming from your beddings, it's coming from not shaving, not washing or laundering your towels, and some of these things. Okay, so please develop routines for your grooming. From brushing, you don't necessarily need to restrict it to brushing once or twice. It can be as soon as you just feel funny in your mouth. Yeah, just go and clean your mouth. It can be brushing before every function. Like that's a legit one. That's something I learned and it has really helped me. Brushing before every function. Number 4, create time in the day to learn. Yes, especially on things that concern your chosen field of endeavor, practice, discipline, or calling. You must commit to learning every day. You must commit to learning every day, if possible. Always ask, how can I be better at this? This is one question I ask myself every day. And you see the improvement. So, I don't know. For those who follow my post and the rest, from dressing to everything I do, I ask myself, same thing with production, playing the instrument. What can I do differently? What can I learn differently? And it's been baby steps, but you see the obvious or not so obvious improvements for those who have been observing. So ask yourself, create routines, especially for the goals you have this year. What can you learn that would push you towards that goal? For some, you want to create content. What do you know about color grading? What do you know about compressing a file so that social media doesn't downgrade it so much for you? What do you know about lighting? What do you know about audio capturing? Okay, these are things that will make you better in whatever you have decided to do. Okay, and finally, learn to adopt the factory reset model. Learn to adopt the factory reset model. This will be more of a suggestion of a weekly routine. It might not necessarily be daily, because daily is going to be intense. So what I mean by factory reset model, this is something I do. For every week that passes, usually towards the weekend, I tend to bring every of my thing to factory reset. Now, let me say clothing, for instance. If I've used a shirt maybe once, I hardly would use a shirt twice, and that's because of the sweat in the armpit. But if I've used it once and it gets to weekend, even if it's just once, even if it's just half I used it, I would bring it to factory reset by washing it and ironing it. Same thing, the shoes I wear, once it's weekend, I bring it back to brand new. Yeah, in fact, I'm so meticulous that it even goes down to my slippers. Like, I bring it to factory reset. My studio, I bring it to factory reset every weekend. Where things are supposed to be, I clean up the dust, fold the wires, do all the tear downs I need to do, that's of unnecessary things, because I'll be having to manage space. Like, learn to bring things to factory reset. Same thing with my room, my bedroom. I bring it to factory reset. What I mean by factory reset is the original state at which it's supposed to be. Yeah. So my beddings, everything, bringing it to factory reset is a good routine to adopt. But this will be weekly. If you have to do that daily, it's going to be intense. So if you stayed till this time, thank you so much. We've come to the end of today's podcast. But just for an observation, now during the week, that was last week, I got people reaching out to me and asking how they could partner and support. So I was thinking of opening like a Patreon account or something where people could make donations. But what I would do is I'll leave my account in my profile or in the description. And if you want to make a monthly commitment, just reach out to me via WhatsApp or my Gmail and tell me, okay, I'm making a commitment of 5,000, I'm making a commitment of 10,000, I'm making a commitment of 50,000 monthly to you to support you. Just do that, and then I have your names written down in my. I'll just create a tab for that, and I'll be praying for you, and I'll be grateful. So see you in the next one. See you on Thursday. Bye.